What's good, YouTube? It's Nas, and I'm back with another video. In today's video, wait, before I get into that, we on the road to 200 subscribers. So if you're watching this and you end up enjoying the video, subscribe, and let's just get right into it. In today's video, we're gonna be comparing two all-time great defenders, and Rudy Gobert and Ben Wallace. Yes, I know a lot of people like to hate on Rudy Gobert nowadays, but in reality, Rudy Gobert is going to be in the Hall of Fame. I know it's hard for people to comprehend, but Ben Wallace is a Hall of Famer, and he's only racked up 9,000 points in his career, and he's in the Hall of Fame just because of his defense. It took a while for him to get there, yes, but obviously he's in it nonetheless. And Ben Wallace in his prime was the example of a rim protector or a paint bully. If you wanted to score on Ben Wallace, it's not gonna be easy. Yes, you're gonna end up getting your points if you try hard enough, or you're a big body like Shaq. But to say that for people to say that you were able to shut down or conquer Shaq, that's a crazy achievement for a guy that is only like 6'9", 6'10", but strong as a bull. But in Ben Wallace's career, starting off with the Washington Wizards, he didn't really play. In the 1997-1998 season, when he finally saw some minutes, he averaged 1 block per game. In the 1998-1999 season, Ben Wallace averaged two blocks per game. And then in one season with the Orlando Magic, Ben Wallace averaged 19. And yeah, he averaged 1.5 blocks per game, And then his first season in Detroit, where he finally found a home for himself, and he finally found an established franchise for him that actually wanted him and would actually play him. He averaged 2 blocks per game, and that number would only continue to go up with his future in Detroit. In the 2001-2002 season, Ben Wallace averaged 3.5 blocks per game. And I believe that was his first Defensive Player of the Year, if I'm not mistaken. Because if you're averaging 3.5 blocks per game, they got to give it to you. And to top it all off, I forgot about steals. In the 2000-2001 season, Ben Wallace averaged 1 steal per game. And then the season I just said, he averaged 1.5 steals per game. So he wasn't just a lockdown defender. He was, not just like a paint defender. He was obviously stripping people too. Because, Ben Wallace and Rasheed Wallace were a force to be reckoned with at the power forward position, to say the least. Even though they only got 1 championship out of it, Detroit could have obviously won more. But you know how deep the East or the West were, or the finals were. I believe they made it to the finals 2 or 3 times, and that was all led by Ben Wallace anchoring the defensive end. In the 2003-2004 season, Ben Wallace averaged 3 block. No, we didn't do the 2002-2003 season. Ben Wallace averaged 3 blocks per game and 1.5 steals per game. Did it again. And in their championship run in the 2003-2004 season, Ben Wallace averaged 3 blocks per game and basically 2 steals per game. And in the 2005-2006 season, Ben Wallace's last season in Detroit, for a minute he averaged 2 blocks per game and basically 2 steals per game. And one season in Chicago in 2006-2007 season, he averaged 2 blocks per game, 1.5 steals per game. And another season, 2007-2008 season, he averaged 1.5. He averaged 1.5 blocks per game, yes, and 1.5 steals per game. And that was Ben Wallace's really last time being established in the NBA. But next we're going to go into Rudy Gobert's stats. Obviously, he's not going to be like the same as Ben Wallace was, because as we know, Rudy Gobert is like 7'2", 7'1", so he's not as agile as Ben Wallace was, but he was still a paint protector. And for nothing else, Rudy Gobert is one hell of a paint defender. He can't guard the perimeter to save his life, but when it comes to paint defense, he's one of the best all time. And people don't give Rudy enough credit for what he's actually good at, and that's basically his job. Like, he's not gonna make it easy for you to score on his paint. He's gonna punch your shit or he's gonna defend it appropriately. But in Rudy Gobert's first season, 2013-14 season, he averaged 0.9 blocks per game, basically 1 block a game. He wasn't getting minutes at the time. His second season, when he saw actual minutes, he averaged basically 2.5 blocks per game. His third season, he averaged 2 blocks per game. His 2016-17 season, he averaged 2.5 blocks per game. His 2017-18 season, which I believe was his first defensive player year, he averaged 2 blocks per game. The 2018-19 season, he averaged 2 blocks per game. The 2019-20 season, he averaged 2 blocks per game. And Rudy Gobert has averaged basically 2 blocks his whole career. His career average is 2 blocks per game. It's not like Ben Wallace's career average, which, actually it is 2 blocks per game. They both average 2 blocks per game for their career. So that's a crazy stat that they both have. In the 2019-20 season, he averaged 2 blocks per game. The 2020-2021 season, he averaged 2.5 blocks per game. 21-22 season, he averaged 2 blocks per game. His first season in Minnesota, he averaged 1.5 blocks per game. Last season in Minnesota, he averaged 2 blocks per game. And this season, right now, he's averaging 1.5 blocks per game. Which, what can you say? That they're basically identical, but we all know that they are basically different players. But for points per game, career-wise, in the regular season, Rudy Gobert averages more points than Ben Wallace, which isn't a surprise because Ben Wallace was more of a defensive anchor and not really a lob threat, I would say. He could catch the occasional lob, but not the lob threat that Rudy Gobert is, because Rudy Gobert basically just stands at the box waiting for a lob from Mike Conley or whoever, Ricky Rubio, etc. Rebounds per game goes to Rudy Gobert, 11. 12 rebounds per game to Ben Wallace's 9.5. The assist point game, they're both the same at 1.3. Steals per game goes to Ben Wallace with 1.5. Blocks per game, it goes to Rudy Gobert with 0.1. Like I said, they both average 2, but Rudy Gobert has a 2.1 and Ben Wallace has a 2. Total points, Rudy Gobert got it, 9,781 and counting. Ben Wallace, 6,254. Total rebounds, Ben Wallace got it over by 1,000, damn. And Ben Wallace has 10,482 to Rudy Gobert's 9,115. Total assists, Ben Wallace has it with 1,437. Total steals, Ben Wallace has it 1,369. And total blocks, Ben Wallace has it by a whole 1,000. Damn, I'm surprised by that. But Rudy Gobert's career is still going, so yeah. And by 2,137 and to Rudy Gobert's 1,643. Total games, Ben Wallace played 1,088 to Rudy Gobert's 775, so still counting. It's still going, so it doesn't really matter about that. Rebounds per game, Ben Wallace has it, or highest rebounds per game in a season. Ben Wallace had 15, Rudy Gobert had 14 and a half, basically. And that's about it with comparing them. But I want to know, how do y'all feel, or who do y'all think is the better defender all time? Ben Wallace or Rudy Gobert? Let me know down below. Subscribe. I hope you enjoyed. I got some videos right here. If you enjoyed this video you just watched, video on the right and video on the left, and click on it.